from his studios in New York, it's time for Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. Here's your host, Dan Tortora.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora can be heard anywhere in central and upstate New York as well as worldwide just by going to our live feed at mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. For the first time ever, I'm very honored and appreciative to have Colgate men's basketball head coach on the broadcast with us of the Colgate Raiders. Matt Langel is here with me today following the team making it to the NCAA Division I men's basketball tournament and knowing that they will be the 15 seed playing up against 2-seeded Tennessee of the SEC in the round of 64 inside of this year's tournament. And with that being said, let's bring in Matt for the first time here on Wake Up Call. Matt, how you doing today?
Thanks. Great to be on.
And Matt, first and foremost, we look at the history of Colgate, and it's been a while since you've been able to get back into this tournament. Just what you could say about being a part of this positive move back into the tournament and having an opportunity here in the Patriot League to win the championship as far as your own conference tournament and punch that ticket to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, it's just a really exciting time for our guys and our institution and our athletic administration that has supported us so much. I had these feelings and these experiences as a student athlete and then as an assistant coach before I arrived here at Colgate. And, it's been a big part of our mission to take the steps necessary to build a program to give the student athletes a chance at this moment. And boy, did they come through in every way possible, getting that first seed of the regular season championship and then being able to play those games at home and the great crowd and community of little old Hamilton, New York that kind of jumped on board and supported our guys through that playoff run. And, again, it's an awesome thing as a coach to see young people achieve their dreams. So I couldn't be more excited for this experience and this opportunity that our program is able to go through.
And when you look at the facts that, you're a part of this positive move back into the tournament, you took over in 2011 at Colgate. Just what you've seen over the last few years. I mean, we're standing here in 2019, 8 years later. What have you seen in these last 8 years?
Yeah, a lot. To be honest with you, 34-year-old young guys typically don't get a head coaching opportunity, and the ones that they do get are either because the guy they worked for moved on to somewhere else and the administration trusts them, or the program has fallen on hard times, and that's where we started, and it's just bit by bit to build the culture that we thought it was going to take to get ourselves in the position that we're in now, and then be able to add some different players through a variety of different means. And it's been a really incredible journey to experience. I've been really fortunate to have a staff that's been with me most of the time, and guys who I like to say their fingerprints are on this trophy, even though they may not be on this team. And it's very rewarding as a coach to be able to work with young people who believe in your vision and the mission at hand, and give everything they have for one another, and to try and to see it all come to fruition with a championship and a selection show party, and to see the kids, jumping up and down on CBS on national TV is just very, very rewarding.
Speaking here with Matt Langel, the head coach of the Colgate Raiders, a men's basketball team. And Matt, when you look at this, like you said, being a part of the selection show and whatnot, just what that did for you, like you said, little old Hamilton, New York, to have this moment and to be, to be all together. And, you see it every single year that, they'll send TVs and they'll send camera crews and whatnot to certain places around the country. If they get selected, this is what we're going to show and whatnot. When you win your conference tournament, you're going to be in, but you don't know where and you don't know what seed. just what that whole experience was like for you to get everybody together, to all be there watching together, and then to have that moment where people around the world got to see Colgate basketball celebrate getting into the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, my personality is one that I kind of like to stand back and watch those moments as opposed to be at the forefront of those moments. And again, it was very rewarding and special for me. I mean, I have my 3 children and my wife standing there, and our team is super excited. And then to partner with the community and see, just our local school, Hamilton Central, to see those high school students that came to our game, and when our students were on spring break and our football team couldn't be there, jumping up and down behind the basket, just to hear from them how much fun it has been. And again, the whole community aspect of everybody being involved, it just makes it that much more special. And again, to stand back and watch it all, see my son jumping up and down and my daughter on national TV, and our guys hugging and celebrating with other students and people who live in the village of Hamilton. It's just, again, it's what makes sports and college basketball so special.
And when you look at Hamilton, I mean, you're less than an hour away from Syracuse University and the Carrier Dome, and obviously, we know what Syracuse has become. We know that Lemoyne men's and women's basketball at the D2 level is doing some great things, and just, around the state of New York, we're seeing some amazing basketball being played. Just what it means to you to be a part of this, to be a part of upstate New York and a part of this, positive movement into the postseason, because this has been a pretty tremendous postseason for men's and women's basketball for the state of New York, and just what it means to you to be a part of that.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I come from Philadelphia area where, I'm biased, but there's really no city like it when it comes to college basketball with, so many different successful programs and the fan base being so spread out over those programs. But and there was a slight adjustment, to be honest with you, when I got up here to Central New York, and everybody wears orange, and whether they studied there or they live here, everybody is a Syracuse fan, and rightfully so. I mean, that program is nationally known, and has won national championships and done everything that a college basketball program can be. But it's been spectacular for me getting to know the coaches up here, like you mentioned, Coach Beeline at Lemoyne, and Hamilton College had a fantastically successful season, and there's other Division II, and Oswego had a really special season. So Skidmore has had an awesome run. So there's a great basketball, a wealth of knowledge up here, and a passion for the game that has been a joy to get to know in a different part of the country. And again, I do think that while it's understandable that so many people are Syracuse fans, there's a lot of places you can go and watch great basketball. I mean, our program is just an example. We've got some significantly talented individuals who you can literally for $5 be 10 feet away from them watching a Division I college game. And I would implore anybody to take the time. It may be a little bit of a drive, but go check these programs out, because there's, like you said, a lot of really good basketball being played.
And speaking here with Matt Langel, the head coach of the Colgate Raiders men's basketball team, and like you talk about, great basketball that's right here in our community that people need to take the time to come out and see. I want to speak on the Patriot League and what you're in, and when they come out and see you at Colgate, what they're seeing. The fact that Lehigh and Bucknell, American, Army, Navy, Boston, as well as Loyola Maryland, Lafayette, and Holy Cross, all within this. We've seen Holy Cross make it to the tournament. We've seen Lehigh do some pretty tremendous things there. We've seen Bucknell make it and whatnot. Just what you could say about the Patriot League as a whole, and especially this year with Bucknell finishing the same as you at 13-5 in the conference, and Lehigh right behind that at 12-6. Just what this conference does for you and the type of competition that you're playing night in and night out inside of the Patriot.
Yeah, certainly. So, first and foremost, I think the Patriot League is terrific. On any given year, there's 32 Division I basketball conferences across the country, and on any given year, ours has fallen, somewhere between 19. This year we were the 22nd ranked conference. So that's significant in and of itself. Once you get by the the Power Five, there's really 6 or 7. I guess in basketball you could go 8 with the West Coast Conference with Gonzaga being there. That's so. We're if you take the next, we're in the top half for sure of the next, group of conferences across the country. So I think that speaks to the type of athlete that you're getting. And then the other thing about the Patriot League is you're getting a guy who's significantly intelligent. Our conference can't recruit just anybody. You've got to have met elevated academic standards to include how you did in high school and what your standardized test scores are. So you're dealing with guys who are spending a lot of time at their studies, and they've got a passion for something academic in their life, and they're guys who are going to go on and be leaders in their fields, whatever it may be, whether they're lawyers or doctors or politicians or business people. They're the best and the brightest at what they do. And then, when you combine those things together, you're talking about very well executed basketball. So while there may not be the athletes that are in the ACC and the Big Ten, you're getting guys who are executing the game plan, and they're running great offenses, and they're changing defenses, and they're attentive to scouting reports. So it allows coaches, which we have really good coaches in our league, it allows them to do their job instead of just kind of go up and down and be super athletic and fire a lot of threes away and try and create pressure defense. The true fans of the game can really watch a lot of different styles and a lot of great basketball being played.
And inside of your schedule, not just in the Patriot League, but the fact that you have those local ties, like you said, to come out and see Colgate, or to go on the road and see Colgate and see who you go up against. You play the Syracuses and the Binghamtons and the Cornells and whatnot. And just what you could say about the importance of having those games out of conference with upstate New York, that you are playing off against Binghamton and you're playing in the Dome against Syracuse and you're facing Cornell. Just what those games do for you as well locally.
Yeah, so I think it's twofold when you talk non-league scheduling. I mean, one of the things that you're trying to do is prepare your guys for moments like this, the one that we're in. And so, you want to play the Syracuses of the world. This year we happen to play Penn State, even though they're not in the NCAA tournament. You play those types of games against that caliber athlete in that environment so that your guys can have that experience. They also, growing up, they want to play against the best of the best. So, we've been to UConn, we've gone to Ohio State, you play those games. The other part of non-league scheduling is, I like to play regional teams like you mentioned. They're teams that you can get to know. You can build a little bit of a rivalry. The guys get to know each other over the year or their careers even. Plus, it's travel. Again, we're at a prestigious academic institution. We can't be flying all over the country and missing academic days because it creates just too much of a challenge. These guys are students first and athletes just under that. And, that playing those regional games, it cuts down on travel time during the academic year, and you're able to stay on top of your studies and not miss those classes that are so important.
And when you look at that at Colgate, just what you could say about the education of it all, too, is that not only is it Division I men's basketball as far as the athletics side of thing, but the education that you get when you come out to Colgate and the importance of that and the type of athlete you bring in because of that.
Yeah, I mean, certainly. Again, I studied at a prestigious Ivy League school at the University of Pennsylvania. My brother is class of 2004 here at Colgate. I mean, my family doesn't look at either differently. It's as prestigious a degree you can get. It's a small liberal arts school where you're getting to work with world-renowned faculty who are here at a school like this to teach the undergraduate. And I think that's special. And it's not appealing for everybody, but for the guys who come here, it is. And their minds grow, and they're able to learn things that they wouldn't anywhere else. And I think that's why we have guys from all across the country and internationally. We've got a guy from Portugal and Australia because, we are Colgate. And, yes, we're Division I and trying to win the Patriot League and play in the NCAA tournament. But, again, very few kids their age get the academic opportunity to study at an institution like this, and they certainly don't take that for granted.
Speaking here with Matt Langel, the head coach of the Colgate Raiders. Matt, before I let you go here, to look back on your history, being an assistant at Penn from 2004 to 2006, and then moving on to Temple from 2006 to 2011 before all of the shifting happened and whatnot with realignment, and now Temple being part of the American Athletic. What did you take away from your time at Penn and your time at Temple that can help you coming into Colgate? I mean, obviously you've been at Colgate for the past few years, from 2011 to now, but what do you take away from Penn and Temple that helped you to become a strong head coach that is where you are right now with Colgate?
Well, I mean, the common factor at both those schools was my coach and the man that I probably have learned more basketball from than anybody else, and just as much about life as I have basketball, and Fran Dunphy. And so, I learned how to treat people the right way, how to always make it about the team, how, once you've accepted an individual into your program, you owe them everything you have to have them be a part of your family, whether they scored 35 points in the championship game or they don't play a ton on your team. And, again, I couldn't be more thankful for those experiences. At this time of the year, heading into the NCAA tournament, I was also very lucky to be a part of those groups as an assistant coach. In those 7 years, I think I was an assistant coach on 6 teams that played in the NCAA tournament. So just to pull from those experiences and what those teams were able to do and how we approached this time of the year is certainly something that I'm happy to have. Even though I got to dust it off a little bit because it wasn't yesterday, but I'm happy to have those experiences to work with at this time of the year.
In 2017-18, the team went 19-14 overall, which set a program record for wins in a season. The following season here, you broken that at 24-10. So last year to set the record, this year to break it, just what it says about where Colgate is heading, in your opinion.
Yeah, again, my belief system is one that we need to always be growing and looking for ways to improve. That's me individually in my job as a basketball coach, but also outside as a friend and a husband and a father. And for our program, I want just the same. And so we had a fantastic season last year and made it all the way to the championship game, and that was great, and we set a lot of records, but we had a significant part of the group returning, and what they wanted and what our message was to them is we've got to find ways to improve and get better and be able to play that game at home, for example, which we were able to do this year. And so you always want to add things to your program, and sometimes they're experiential, sometimes they're things that you can create and schedule. Sometimes there are things with facilities, but you always want to be trying to improve and get better, and then the results will take care of themselves. So we didn't go in saying, hey, we want to win more than 19 games and or win 24 games, but we did want to position ourselves to take advantage of every opportunity that was in front of us, and so that's been our mentality, and that will continue to be our mindset moving forward.
That coming from Matt Langel, the head coach of the Colgate Raiders men's basketball team, as they step into the NCAA tournament. You're stepping into this tournament on an 11-game winning streak, 15-1, and at home, taking care of your home court in Hamilton, and then 9-9 on the road. Just what you could say about going into this tournament. I know you have Tennessee, and we'll talk about Tennessee in a second here, but to be going in on an 11-game winning streak, which includes winning the Patriot League Tournament Championship, 15-1 at home and 9-9 on the road, just what that says about where this team is at heading into the NCAA tournament.
Well, I mean, there's a lot there to talk about, but I think for us that home deal is really important. I think as you look at the best teams in their respective conferences, the groups that are typically able to be really strong at home position themselves to be champions, and so that was really important for us, and we were able to do that. We also have been through some bumps along the road. We didn't get off to the best start of league play. We had a challenging conference schedule early on there, and then Jordan Burns, our sophomore starting point guard, second leading scorer, leading assist guy, the guy who had 35 points in the championship game, went down with a significant ankle injury, missed 5 games, which is the better part of 2 weeks. That means he's not out on the court at all during that time, and then had to work his way back into the lineup and wasn't fully healthy for a long stretch. So that was a tough stretch for us, and we were able to win 8 in a row to eke out, the first place in a home court advantage in a tiebreaker, sharing the championship with Bucknell. And, we're down double figures in the quarterfinal game against Boston, just again speaking to the parity of the league. And this group has just continued to be able to find a way to win. So, I say all that just to speak to their character, their belief in one another. And you certainly feel good having won your last 11 games and playing your best basketball at this time of the year. I think that's what every coach wants for his team.
And you have Tennessee coming up first in the NCAA tournament. That is your game that will be played in Columbus, Ohio. That game is this coming Friday, and that matchup with Tennessee will be the 2 seed for them, the 15 seed for you, this Friday, March 22nd at 2:45 p.m. Eastern Time in Columbus. Your thoughts on Tennessee so far, and just what your takeaways have been, as I know you got started very early on scouting Tennessee, knowing that could be an opportunity for you.
Yeah, I mean, we played our championship game on a Wednesday night, and I don't think the SEC tournament probably hadn't even started then. So as you're flipping the channels and enjoying the moment, you're watching the SEC and the Big Ten and the Big East and the ACC, knowing you're going to get a really, really good team from one of those conferences. So we got to watch Tennessee and their run to the SEC championship game, and I think first and foremost when I think about them is I think about their coach. As still a relatively young head coach, we'll be going against one of the icons in the game. I mean, a guy who's just built successful programs everywhere he's been, Providence College, Clemson, Texas, and now has turned Tennessee into, again, one of the best teams in the country. I think you combine that with the fact that they've got, a pretty veteran group. Usually some of these top teams in the country, like Tennessee is, they've got young future NBA stars on their roster. This team, while they may have some NBA stars, they're veteran. And, so they've been through the ups and downs of what college basketball can bring. And, they're physically imposing. Grant Williams is, in my mind, an All-American, and Schofield is, just physically a presence. They share the basketball. Assist numbers are off the charts for a team, again, as talented as they are. They really share and, are, in my mind, a definition of a true team.
And what can you say about your team on the other side of things here? The Tennessee, a lot of people have paid attention to at some point this season, or will, with them being connected to the Power Five in the SEC. And I believe that, the big thing about this in my job for the last 16 plus years of being a broadcaster is to not just look where everybody's looking, but look everywhere. So Colgate, what can you say to me about this team, what you have, because you can only control the controllables, which is your squad. What does this team have? We know Tennessee's coming in strong. We know they're coming in talented. We know they're coming in as a team that wants to avenge the fact that they didn't win the SEC tournament championship, so they have something to prove. They're facing the Colgate Raiders. What are they getting with Colgate? What can you say about your team?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that I like, and based on some of the non-league games that we weren't able to win against, teams from, like you said, the Power 5 conference, is that we have legitimate size. I mean, our starting lineup, we go, 6'9", 6'9", 6'7", 6'5", 6 foot. So, in some ways, we have some size to go against a team that has some physical dominance. The other thing that I really like about our team is, that we share the basketball. I mean, we have, assisted on over half of our field goals, and I think that's a sign of a team that plays together. And while we've got some talented guys, Player of the Year and a 2-second team all Patriot League guys. We're really invested in one another, and the basketball moves, and we share the ball. The last thing that I think, helps us in that category is we've got a lot of guys who can make three-point shots. So, again, sometimes when you're playing a team like this, you got to catch lightning in a bottle, and being able to stretch the floor and have multiple guys who can make a shot from the perimeter is something that I think we'll have to capitalize on to be competitive on Friday afternoon.
And just in closing here with Matt Langel, the head coach of the Colgate Raiders men's basketball team, just the excitement, how you've seen the guys respond, kind of a twofold question, how they have responded to the moment, and then secondly, corralling them all, if you feel like it's going to be difficult to corral them to get them to, do the task at hand, so to speak, or if this is a team that, people may not know about, but it is a very responsible team in the sense of they're going to enjoy the moment in the moment, and then they're going to go straight to work. How has the team kind of responded is really what I'm asking, as far as knowing that this is a huge moment for the program, but to not put that all on their shoulders and know that it's just another game that they're going to have to play.
Yeah, I mean, my strategy and our staff strategy with these guys, because of who they are as people and who they've become as a team, is to speak the truth. And so, certainly what we'll talk about is that we've achieved, pretty much everything that we dreamed of and all of our goals. And, the mission that our guys had been on was to get back to that championship and have the game be here. I'm not sure that anybody was thinking about, playing a top 25 team or a team that's been number one in the country for a chunk of the season. I'm not sure that was what was motivating them in the weight room or anything else, but we'll talk about that now, as opposed in addition to enjoying the moment and the experiences and what you've dreamed of doing since you've been a little kid. But at the same point, the great opportunity that we have in front of us. Again, this group has been able to respond and has been locked into taking full advantage of those opportunities that we've had over the last couple months of the season, and whether those have been significant road wins to secure the regular season, or again, fighting back from being down in the quarterfinal game, or they've been able to lock in and respond. So they're going to need to do it once again, because we have a tall task at hand, and we'll put together a game plan. They have a great staff who will work like crazy to try and think about what will give us our best chance on Friday afternoon. But I know our guys will be focused on that as well, and be really paying attention to what they need to try and get done.
A final note to Raiders fans, just what you want the community to know about their support and the love that they've had for this program as you've worked to build the program to what it is today.
Yeah, I had a chance to speak to them at the selection show on Sunday, and I think the message is just simply that we're in a unique place, I would say, in the country, in that we're a small liberal arts school with enrollment of under 3,000 in a village that where the population is when those students leave is also around 3,000, and to partner those two things together, and for everybody to come and cheer. Again, there were hundreds of people in the stands for that selection show. It's really just an awesome thing that a lot of people, I think, will remember for a long, long time.
That coming from Matt Langel, the head coach of the Colgate Raiders. Matt, I appreciate it as always. Safe travels to Columbus, Ohio, and congratulations on all the work that you've done at Colgate. We're looking forward to good things here in the tournament.
All right, thanks.